is on CSW 69 section. And the parade event continues. And today we are having the Divine Mercy Foundation for Vulnerable and Less Privileged Children hosting their own side event. Unfortunately, incidentally, the President, Her Excellency, Barrister Dr. Mrs. Teresa Ibas, couldn't arrive due to some emergencies in Nigeria. So, please, can we clap for her for not arriving? So that is where we are. And their theme for this year theme, in line with the 30th years of Beijing, is advancing support for the vulnerable and less privileged in post 30 years of Beijing. So the support for the vulnerable and the less privileged. So every year in the month of March, the United Nations allows discussions, conversation, and global opportunity on issues of women and around women. Divine Mercy Foundation for Vulnerable Children and Less Privileged is pleased to join the global discussion reflecting on the priority theme, advancing support for the vulnerable and less privileged in the post-30th Beijing. Divine Mercy Foundation for Vulnerable anchors on this theme in bringing its mission on education, social and inclusive well-being of vulnerable and less privileged in communities. DMF, as we popularly call it, have taken concerns on the growth and development of vulnerable citizens among us in our community. DMF, considering the key issues faced by the less privileged communities, including access to quality and inclusive education at various levels, denying them opportunities for their children, and in cases where they do manage to make these provisions for education, the children are sometimes unable to complete their studies as a result of shortage in funds and other unexpected circumstances. Secondly, the poor quality of education received by children who are unable to acquire basic literacy, technical and vocational skills, and lack of relevance between the curriculum of teaching and learning are neglected greatly among the vulnerable community. These and others have over time stifled the growth of our society, which the mission of Divine Mercy Foundation is committed to in working around the theme, advancing support for vulnerable and the less privileged in post 30 years of Beijing. In the past, DMF became committed to teacher skills digital training program for community classroom teachers by providing 500 selected teachers involved in the training with laptops. They also provided scholarship and sponsored teacher exchange programs from rural to urban schools. They enacted action on virtual expert training on teachers' consciousness for teachers in community schools in keeping with the United Nations clarion call to the Decade of Action. DMF, in keeping to the global agenda on CSW section priority on review and appraisal of the implementation of Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action and the outcomes of the 23rd Special Section of the General Assembly, affirms its continued zeal to contribute to the concerns on poor inclusive support services and on quality education through discussion and sharing at the parallel event on advancing support for vulnerable and less privileged. The parallel event will include an assessment of current challenges that affect the implementation of the Platform for Action and the achievement towards advancing support to the vulnerable and less privileged, and its contribution towards the full realization of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The objective of this event is to enable DMF respond to priority theme of the CSW 69 section by exploring strategic knowledge and ideas that could guide the next commitment of DMF towards support services for the vulnerable group. The outcome will help development strategic interventions that could commit the mission of GMF and the less privileged community to further its work in providing quality, inclusive education for lifelong learning in the life of children in vulnerable situations. The outcome from the presentation will further to work, rebrand the mission of organization towards delivery of action in terms of advancement and inclusive support for the less privileged. So with us on this evening is to have Reverend Father. Reverend, no, I call him my enemy number one in New York. So he's going to moderate this event today, and he's the son to the president of the Divine Mercy Foundation. So Father, you're welcome. I want to call to the table in recognition virtually Her Excellency Dr. Barrister Teresa Bass, who is the founder Divine Mercy Foundation for Vulnerable Children and Less Privileged. Your Excellency, are you there?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Thank you. We also want to invite Her Excellency Ambassador Dr. Marjanita Ripley, who is the Director General of Leadership and Women Affairs Department, World of Life Ministries International Consulting Cabinet. Then we need to have other speakers. Her Excellency Ambassador Dr. Latonia Copeland, Deputy Director, International Children Department. Oh, my darling is here already. Can you imagine? She flew in from Atlanta this morning. Just now, she just arrived. Please sit down. And Her Excellency Dr. Anthony Jennings, who is the founder and leader of Future No Limit. So, Father, you have to come out because moderator does not sit down. No, keep that chair. And then the last but not the least, Her Excellency Ambassador Dr. Pastor Toyin Lawal, the President of 1,000 Women in Religion for Global Peace.
No, sit down. I am host as well.
So, Father, so I hand over to you to run the program.
Hello, Mr. Moderator.
Yeah, yes, Mom. Yes, Your Excellency. Today I will use Her Excellency. Leave family matter where they are. As part of introduction, my name is Reverend Father Mark Alagi. I am the president founder of Wounded Healers Foundation, a foundation that was bettered in me by my mother when I was struggling to become a priest, and the love we have for the less privileged around us. And it came out of my necessity of my work in Africa, in Uganda, in Kenya, most especially recently in Congo when I worked with the pygmies and the less privileged there. So it has to resonate with the Beijing conference to 30 years after what has been done. What are the changes? I did not watch it on National Geo Wide. I live the life too in the middle of the forest, the equatorial forest in Congo, where the girl child was deprived education and basic amenities of what a girl child needs to be able to grow. And at that point, the girl child is also being given out in marriage early. And so when you see this kind of situation, you ask yourself, the first question you ask, what am I going to do? So it's not enough to talk about them, but what are we going to do? And my mom, Her Excellency, has been very proactive in this line, basically, because when the girl child or the vulnerable child is being educated, they have been empowered. Yes. Education is power. Knowledge is power. And once they are empowered, they can think for themselves and they can decide for themselves. And currently, I work with the New York Department of Homeless Services for the less privileged through and the streets, young men from the streets and everything. That has also been a challenge. The less privileged are not only in Africa, they are everywhere in the world. And so what are we going to do about it after post-Beijing? And that is why at this point, after introducing myself, I would like to invite the President, Divine Mercy Foundation, Dr. Mrs. Teresa Ibaz, to give us her presentation. She'll be talking to us. She'll be talking to us about advancing an inclusive support for the vulnerable and less privileged. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Father, whether your son or what, Father, you are my Father, my spiritual Father. Thank you. I thank you all, your Excellencies and Professor Adam, for us all coming together again this year in advancing support for the vulnerable and less privileged in post 30 years of Beijing. Our commitment in Divine Mercy Foundation brings greetings to all your Excellencies and all attendees of this event. At the 69th session of the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women, CSW 69, it is an honor to stand today before you and discuss issues central to our mission at the Divine Mercy Foundation for Vulnerable and Less Privileged Children, DMF. The advancement of support services for the vulnerable and less privileged, particularly women and children, in the wake of 30 years since the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action. It is with great honor that we, the Divine Mercy Foundation, join this global platform during the 69th session of the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women, CSW 69, and the Beijing Declaration Platform for Action, established over 30 years ago, which remains one of the most comprehensive policy frameworks for achieving gender equality and women's empowerment. As we reflect on the progress made, it is crucial to recognize that vulnerable and less privileged individuals, particularly systemic barriers to education, economic empowerment, and social inclusion. All around us, we see this every day. Therefore, at DMF, we are deeply committed to advancing support for the vulnerable and less privileged. Our work aligns with the goals of the Beijing Declaration, particularly in ensuring access to quality education, promoting economic empowerment, and advocating for the rights of widows and disadvantaged women in the rural communities. Education remains a transformative tool in breaking the cycle of poverty and inequality. Many children from vulnerable communities are denied access to quality education due to financial constraints, lack of infrastructure, and outdated curricula that fail to equip them with relevant skills for the modern world. We see this every day. Therefore, DMF, we are deeply committed to advancing support for the vulnerable and less privileged. Our work aligns with the goals of these include teacher skills digital training program, which has equipped 500 community classroom teachers with digital tools, including laptops, to enhance their teaching methods and bridge the digital divide in underprivileged areas. Scholarship and teacher exchange programs facilitating the movement of teachers from rural to urban schools to improve learning conditions and promote knowledge sharing. Virtual expert training on teacher consciousness designed community school teachers to develop more effective teaching strategies in alignment with global education goals. Beyond this effort, DMF recognizes the intersection between education and climate change. Climate-related disruptions such as floods, droughts, and food insecurity significantly impacts school attendance and learning outcomes, particularly for girls in many regions, families facing economic hardship due to environmental disasters prioritize boys' education over girls, perpetuating gender disparities. In response, DMF is expanding its commitment to developing programs that equip girls with life skills for a green economy, ensuring they are prepared for climate resilient careers. Advocating for policy reforms that integrate climate education into school curricula, helping students understand and adapt to environmental challenges. Strengthening partnerships with local and international organizations to ensure sustainable investment in education for vulnerable children. Widowhood remains one of the most overlooked and pressing gender issues worldwide. The economic and social vulnerability of widows is exacerbated by cultural and legal restrictions that deprive them of inheritance rights, economic opportunities, and social security. In many societies, widows are subjected to harmful traditional practices that rob them of dignity and financial independence. DMF has made significant strides in supporting widows and vulnerable women through economic empowerment initiatives, including skills development programs, which provide widows with vocational training in areas such as tailoring, soap making, agricultural products, micro enterprise support, helping widows establish small businesses through access to seed funding, financial literacy training, and mentorship. Advocacy campaigns to challenge discriminatory practices, ensuring that widows are not denied their rights to property, inheritance, and social security. The COVID-19 pandemic further exposed the economic vulnerabilities of widows, many of whom lost their primary sources of income. DMF responded by expanding its social protection programs, including emergency relief support, food aid, and health care assistance. Moving forward, we will continue to promote financial literacy and entrepreneurship among widows, helping them build sustainable livelihoods. Engage policymakers to push for legal protections that uphold widows' rights, ensuring they have access to land ownership, employment, and social security. Enhance support support networks, and community-based advocacy efforts, giving widows a platform to voice their concerns and shape policies that affect their lives. The Beijing Declaration emphasized the importance of gender responsive in achieving equality. Yet, many vulnerable groups, particularly women and children in marginalized communities, continue to face systemic exclusion. At DMF, we believe that lasting change can only be achieved through policy interventions that prioritize inclusion, representation, and access to essential services. Our advocacy efforts have focused on ensuring that education policies address the specific needs of marginalized girls, particularly those in rural areas who face barriers to school enrollment and completion. Strengthening laws that protect widows and disadvantaged women from economic exploitation and social discrimination, ensuring their rights are upheld in legal and policy frameworks. Encouraging gender responsive budgeting, pushing for increased funding in sectors such as education, healthcare, and social protection for vulnerable groups, fostering collaborations with government agencies, civil society organizations, and international bodies to create sustainable and impactful change at the policy level. DMF has established rehabilitation and healthcare support services to widows, ensuring their reintegration into society. We provide psychological support for children, families affected by poverty, gender-based violence, and displacement, especially those of us who come from the military families. We all know what insurgence has caused us. So most of the time, Divine Mercy takes time to counsel the women, the wives, whose husbands are the fallen heroes, that they went to war and they never came back. You can imagine the trauma such women are passing through. So even when the military is supporting them, they still need more because it's never enough. As we move forward, DMF remains steadfast in its commission to create a world where every vulnerable individual, whether a child, widow, or disadvantaged woman, has the opportunity to live with dignity, economic security, and access to education. In the coming years, our efforts will be focused on investing in girls' education as a means of fostering climate participation and leadership, ensuring that young women are equipped to contribute to sustainable development, expanding digital learning initiatives, providing rural schools with technological resources to bridge the digital divide, creating mentorship and leadership programs for young girls, inspiring them to break barriers and pursue careers in male-dominated fields. Building stronger social support networks for widows, ensuring they have access to mental health services, legal aid, and economic resources. Deepening our advocacy for the protection of vulnerable communities, ensuring that government policies prioritize their welfare and advancement. In conclusion, the Divine Mercy Foundation remains steadfast in its mission to support the vulnerable and less privileged. Education, economic empowerment, and gender equality are not just fundamental rights. They are catalysts for global progress. The Divine Mercy Foundation's work aligns with the 12 critical areas of the Beijing Declaration's goal, focusing on education, economic empowerment, and gender equality. DMF initiatives such as teacher training, scholarships for girls, and vocational programs for widows support quality education and economic independence. The foundation advocates for the rights of vulnerable women and children, addresses gender-based violence, and integrates climate resilience into education. Moving forward, DMF will continue to champion women's participation in decision-making and push for policies that protect and empower marginalized groups, contributing to a more inclusive society. As we mark 30 years of the Beijing Declaration, we recognize that achieving a just and inclusive society requires continued effort and collaboration. We call on governments, organizations, and individuals to join us in building a future where no child is denied education, no widow is left unsupported, and no woman is excluded from opportunities. Together, we can advance the vision of a world where the vulnerable thrive and the less privileged are empowered to build better futures. May I add here that I know all of us who are attending this event are passionate about this vulnerable and less privileged. I know, Father, my son there, who says today it's not his son, but his father. I know what you have put in children, orphans, vulnerable children, women. I know the support you have given to those classes of people. And I know, Professor Ada, the school, your worry, all these things, when the school's roof was removed, I remember how you were crying because you were passionate about those children having a roof on their heads, over their heads, so they will attend school in a wonderful, conducive environment. It therefore means that all of us here can get together, put heads together, and see how we get these things done by bringing in organizations, whichever way we have to. DMF is doing its best, but our best is never enough. Therefore, please let us all get together and see how more we can do, whichever way we can help each other to see that we reach out to these children for a better living. Thank you all for listening. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Her Excellency, for this beautiful speech. There are two things that stand out when you have to deal with people who are vulnerable: compassion and empathy. These are two key words, and these are things that drive my mother. Let me use mother now. Compassion and empathy, because she has been there herself and she knows how difficult it is. When she tells you, I have been there myself, she bought me my first engine boat in the Congos when I wanted to reach out to vulnerable girls in the forest of Congo. There were no roads, so you go by boat. And sometimes I traveled 2 months still on the water. And there was a time I was lost completely. They thought I was dead, but I came out alive. So from that period, we have been pushing that these people deserve something. The politicians will go there when they need votes, but they will run away when they finish voting them. So at this point, I will call on Dr. Ada, who wants to introduce somebody who just came in.
Yes, I want to introduce some people I want to be like them when I grew up. So I want to introduce Her Excellency, the very First Lady of Nigeria, the wife of late Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, Your Excellency, Dr. Mrs. Nnamdi.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, ma.
How are you, Mama?
Thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you for the good job you've been doing for the less privileged, especially the widows, which is my own group of NGO. Thank you so much. We'll talk later. I'll get your contact and we'll continue our discussion.
Thank you. Thank you. See why he's a professor emeritus. You see why I say I want to be like them when I grow up. And I want to also introduce the president of Wives of Emirs in FCT Abuja, Hajia.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Mommy.
Good evening, Your Excellency. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for the good job you are doing for the less privileged and the vulnerable.
Thank you.
Thank you. We pray we'll cooperate with you or collaborate with you to make sure that the Beijing Declaration is upheld. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, and my sisters around you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Majesty. And Your Majesty has offered to give the gender priority strategy some parcel of land to help rural women. Thank you. And of course, the only woman that celebrates birthday with Nigeria. Can you just clap for Mama, Queen Mother, Africa? Queen Mother. Traditional ruler, my dearly beloved Mama, we still hanging out, aren't we?
I just want to add to the conversation, which is important, not too far. Oh, you don't have a long life. It's all right. It's okay. To the Reverend Father, Queen Mother was a Roman Catholic nun, so you know I know about Catholicism a little bit. After receiving final vows, what a conversation you're engaging with, Mama Ibas. Mama Ibas.
Yes. Yes, please.
Queen Mother is talking to you as well.
All right.
It behooves us to take care of our children, our babies.
Yeah.
Comes out of our womb. They are babies.
They are, actually.
We are the nurturers of life itself. Come out of our womb. And when a mother cries, she is not crying for herself. She's crying for her babies. When you see children, when you go throughout not just the continent, Mother Africa, but throughout the world, Queen Mother make it her business to look at the street children, the slum, how they're living. I'm just coming back from Kenya, Nairobi. The the slum areas and see how they're living every day. And you raise your voice by saying, God, what have we done to place our children in such a condition? You move around and see little boys and now recruiting for little girls to carry weapons of harm. Children, soldiers of war, killing their own brother and raping their own mother. It is hard for Queen Mother as I walk on the earth which God has allowed me north, south, east, and west to see it. North, east, south, and west. Even during the pandemic, most of us was locking down, shutting down. The UN was locked up forever. No one moving nowhere. Nobody want nothing from nobody. We got a marathon out now. Can't talk to nobody anymore. Locked down. And you didn't even know why he was locked down. That was the pity of it. I'm going to leave you because I'm telling stories, which is so important. Dear little Queen, South Africa. But I will say this before I leave you. Every child have a right to food. Every child have a right for shelter. Every child have a right to be clothed from the elements of life. Then the child is healthy, sustainable. Mothers, sisters, the girl child, the daughters, it is our duty. It is our duty to do so. It is your duty. It is your responsibility. It is the mission that we are on. And may God, Queen Mother, it's doing Ramadan, I'm praying, so I gotta go. But I ask God to hold you women in a special way at CS 69 session as I yield the mic and continue to pray for the train and for the blessings and the grace of God to hear us here. Hear us.
Woo! Can you clap for Queen Mother? Always the mother's voice. Always the mother's voice. Yes. Now, last but not the least is the former First Lady of Delta State.
Sorry, Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Development, Edo State.
I promoted you.
Well, I have to commend
Welcome, Your Excellency.
Oh, sorry. My sister, thank you so much. I've met you before. You've done so well, and you continue to do so much for us. I thank everybody. I thank Queen Mother for coming, and let's continue the job. If the traditional institutions join us,
Yes, sir.
the place will be a better place for us to live.
Amen. Amen. Accept that prophetic call, former First Lady.
Yes. Thank you so much.
As we go to the next chapter of this presentations here, I wish to call on the keynote address, who is going to talk to us about advancing support for the vulnerable and less privileged, the 30 years of Beijing. Her Excellency Dr. Janita Ripley, Director General, Leadership and Women Affairs Department. Her Excellency.
Good evening. Good evening. Dr. Ada and Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, esteemed hosts, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for that amazing speech by Her Excellency, Dr. Abbas. Okay, thank you. So delighted to have my daughter, Her Excellency, Dr. April Ripley here, and other esteemed women of Walmart, ICC. God bless you all. It's an honor to come before you today to address a theme of critical importance: advancing support services for the vulnerable and less privileged in the post 30 years of the Beijing conference. This milestone reminds us to hold commitment made 3 decades ago and challenges us to evaluate our progress while mapping out the journey ahead. 30 years ago, the world gathered in Beijing for the 4th World Conference on Women, adopting the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action, an ambitious blueprint for achieving gender equality and empowerment of women and girls. It also highlighted critical areas like poverty, education, health, violence, armed conflict, and economic inequalities. Today, as we reflect on this landmark event, we must ask ourselves, have we sufficiently extended the principles of equality, inclusion, and support of the vulnerable and less privileged populations beyond the gender spectrum? We have achieved some progress. In the past 3 decades, significant strides have been made. Globally, we have seen the rise of legal frameworks of promoting gender equality, principles regarding children's rights, and initiatives targeting poverty alleviation. Many nations have integrated social protection schemes to support marginalized communities in education, healthcare, and economic empowerment. Community-based organizations, advocacy groups, and international bodies have worked tirelessly to provide a voice for the voiceless. Ms. Coretta Scott King, civil rights leader, wife of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., said this: "The greatness of a community is most accurately measured by the compassionate actions of its members." However, while we celebrate these achievements, we must also confront the persistent challenges that hinder the full realization of these goals. The present realities and challenges. Despite our progress, millions around the world continue to grapple with social, economic, and structural vulnerabilities. The COVID-19 pandemic starkly exposed and exacerbated these inequalities for women, children, the elderly, persons with disability, and marginalized communities. Access to healthcare, education, employment opportunities, and social protection remains uneven. Additionally, humanitarian crises, climate change, and armed conflicts have displaced countless individuals in a disproportionate manner, affecting the less privileged. Gender-based violence, child labor, human trafficking, and poverty still plague our society worldwide. As we move beyond the 30 years of the Beijing conference, our collective responsibility is to intensify efforts to create a more inclusive, equitable, and just world. Strategies for advancing support services. To achieve this, we must innovate a world where dignity, equality, and opportunity are privileges and not but fundamental rights for everyone. Let this milestone be a catalyst for intensified action deeper collaboration, and enduring impact. In the words of Mr. Nelson Mandela, former president of South Africa, it always seems impossible until it's done. This statement encapsulates the essence of determination, resilience, and perseverance. Thank you for your time and attention. Let us go forth with conviction, with compassion, and a shared resolve to advance support services for the most vulnerable and less privileged in the spirit of the Beijing Conference legacy. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Stand up for Adiji. Woman in the house, stand up. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. You know, I wanted to say 12 minutes, then you gave me 9 minutes. I was looking at my time and I said, this is awesome, precise, straight to the point. Keep it short and simple. Kiss. Somebody once said to me, you have the heart of a mother, but you are a man. That was when I used to work in the orphanage. So when he sees me wearing the children pampers, bathing them, feeding them, and he comes to say, do men do this kind of thing in my country? And I said, yes, because I was domesticated by my mother. Because if I cook for you, you won't want anybody to cook for you. So my mother used to say, when your sisters are not there, who takes care of the house? You have to learn everything. The only thing, please don't get pregnant. Before I call the next speaker, from your analysis and everything, there is something that stands out. If you cannot help me, don't hurt me. That is the key word from her statement. If you cannot help me, don't hurt me. So right now I have to call on the next speaker, who is going to talk to us, advancing inclusive support for the vulnerable and less privileged, the post-30 Beijing Conference. Her Excellency, Dr. Latonia Copeland, Deputy Director, International Children Department. Welcome.
Greetings in recognition of the First Ladies, Ministers, Global Peace Ambassadors, our host, Your Excellency, Professor Otto. To advance support for vulnerable and less privileged women and girls in Beijing in alignment with the United Nations Consultative Status of the Commission on the Status of Women, CSW 69, it is crucial to develop methods of delivery that are inclusive, rights-based, and responsive to specific needs of women and girls. The methods should reflect the global commitments made through the CSW, including achieving gender equality, empowering of women and girls, and ensuring access to social, economic, and legal rights. I've identified 7 key methods of delivery aligned with CSW 69 principles. Number 1, gender-sensitive policy advocacy and awareness campaigns. We can raise awareness through campaigns that advocate for policies that promote gender equality, access to health care, education, economic opportunities, and social inclusion, while also embracing their cultural differences. In alignment with the CSW 69, this includes organizing public events, online campaigns, and collaborating with local governments to implement gender-sensitive policies. Number 2, empowerment through education and skills training. By providing accessible educational programs, vocational training, and leadership development, we can address areas like digital literacy, entrepreneurship, and career development. It is important, the importance of education is a key tool in empowering women and girls. Programs should focus on skills that will reduce gender inequality and increase economic independence. This can be done by partnering with local schools, universities, and NGOs to offer tailored education and training programs that are both accessible in urban and rural areas of Beijing. Number 3, support health and reproductive services. Ensure women and girls have access to comprehensive healthcare services, including sexual and reproductive health services, mental health support, and maternal care. Create mobile health units, clinics that can be used in the most needed areas. Implementing provider partnerships to offer free and subsidized services to educate women on their sexual and reproductive rights. It is necessary. Number 4, economic empowerment initiatives. Create opportunities for women and girls to access financial services, income-generating projects, and entrepreneurship training by fostering career coaching and women's participation in the local economy. Number 5, safety and protection for gender-based violence. Provide support by establishing safe spaces, counseling, and legal aid services for survivors. Emphasize the need for hotlines, community outreach, and specialized crisis intervention centers. Number 6, inclusive digital platform and online services. Bridge the gap of technology by creating digital platforms that offer services and support remotely, particularly for women and girls in difficult to reach areas. Online resources can include educational content, legal advice, mental health support, and ensure that even those in the remote areas are able to gain access. And number 7, community-based support networks and mentorship. Develop mentorship programs that connect vulnerable women and girls with role models, with professionals and community leaders who can offer guidance, career advice, and personal support. Create community support groups and peer-to-peer mentoring and empowerment through social change. In conclusion, we must continue to work closely with the Beijing local government, UN agencies, and international organizations to ensure the support is properly aligned with the global commitments to gender equality. By integrating these methods, the delivery of support to vulnerable and less privileged women and girls in Beijing can be aligned with the guiding principles of the CSW 69. This approach will create a comprehensive and inclusive support system that addresses the diverse needs of this population while aligning with global gender equality framework. In our own communities, we must do the same to mobilize and foster a grassroots movement so that we will be moving in unison together as one nation and one global work.
Thank you very much. As a famous activist we say, Mahatma Gandhi, be the change you want to see in the world. It is not just about talking about it. What are we going to do about it? And when you find out what you want to do about it, who are you bringing on board to do it with you? So at this point, I would like to invite the next speaker. Challenges that affect the implementation of the platform for action and the achievement of gender equality on advancing support for the vulnerable and less privileged towards the full realization of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. At this point, I invite Dr. Antoinette Jennings, founder, Leaders of the Future, No Limits. I like that, no limits, no boundaries.
So I'm gonna stand up because my sisters here did the work, the same work that I've done, and have the same information that I was gonna read off the paper, so we don't have to reiterate what we heard already. So I'm gonna speak about the call to action. Let me say my name is Dr. Jennings. I'm a Victim Support Director for Living Redemption. I have my own organization called Leaders of the Future, No Limits, because there's no boundaries to what we would do to help somebody. Call to action, Michael Jackson said, we are the world. Finish it off, we are the world. Together we can. Oh, okay, we're gonna try this again. Because I love Michael Jackson, right? But we're gonna try this again with a little bit more energy. We are the world. We are the. Yes, okay. We are the world. That's right. We are one, people. We are one. I'm not thriving if she's not thriving. If she's hungry and I'm eating, that's a problem. A call to action. It's up to us to make a commitment to making a change. We know the needs, and we can talk about what they need, and we can write this on paper, but what are the actions we're gonna take? I read someone donated 500 laptops at one point. That's action. Let's stop talking and be more productive. Everybody in here knows somebody that knows somebody, yes? Yes? Okay. If we come together, first of all, thank you for even coming today. You took the time out to find out, to get information, to see how you can help. But we all know someone that knows someone that can help. Even if, people think, well, I don't have the money. It's not always about money. So miss me with that one. I may need your resources as far as, Senator Clear, maybe you could speak to Senator Clear and she could donate some books. Maybe your pastor may know somebody that can donate some pencils. Simple stuff. We make it difficult because we got to start out grand. No, the small lead to the top. We'll get there, but we have to start from somewhere. So a call to action is today I'll ask you to commit. To commit, whatever that looks like, your time, your energy, your money. Yes, we need money. I used to hear a lot about missionaries trips. Maybe we need to get that together, Dr. Ada? Yeah. Huh? Maybe we need to get some missionary trips together? Sure. We can do that. It's not impossible. Who likes to travel? I love to travel. And I love service. So put me in service and travel together, we're going to have a real good time. But it starts with a commitment. So my call today is to say, first make the commitment, whatever that may look like. You ain't got to do nothing so grand where you think it's going to take a lot of your energy. Step by step and together. This is not a one man's island, not one organization. It takes collectiveness. And we can make this world a better place. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Antoinette Jennings. That was a beautiful one. It's like giving us a summary of what we've been hearing from the other speakers, and which makes it very concrete. There was a saying somebody once told me which has defined the meaning of availability to service in my life. He once told me, say, your social network determines the level of your passion to be involved.
Yes.
That whoever you meet is not by accident. There is a purpose for meeting that person. And you have to talk to be engaged, to find out the purpose. And that's what Dr. Jenny just told us. Who knows who? Somebody knows somebody. Somebody's not one connection of them. Whoever knew I would be standing here in front of the wife of the first president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This is like I'm just looking at her and I was just like, am I dreaming? In my lifetime, she's still here? Man, I'm gonna take pictures today. And so at this point, I would love to invite Her Excellency Dr. Pastor Tony Lawal. Wow, she's here. Wow. Founder, and she's the president, 1,000 Women in Religion for Global Peace. Wow. Welcome, Her Excellency.
Thank you so much. Wow. What a powerhouse. Greetings, Her Excellencies, honorable speakers. It's just my delight to meet all of you in person and to be here. Her Excellency, Dr. Ivers, thank you so much for this platform. My professor, the woman that go together, thank you so much. Everyone here today, thank you. The last week of CSW and we are still here. That means we are here for action. That means our mind is all together. That means we are ready for the game. Thank you for being here. Mama has laid the foundation and Doctor has already spoke a lot and called for action. But I just want to remind us of some things about vulnerable population and also some statistics so that when we begin actions, we understand the numbers and we understand the figures because it is time for action. We all talk about less privileged, vulnerable population. Who are these people? We only think people on the street that doesn't have a home or some people that are on wheelchair or just somebody out there. I want to emphasize, oh mommy, God bless you, ma. I was looking at my, where is she? Vulnerable population include women and girls. Let's look around. Most of us are women. Girls, if you don't have a girl, at least you have a sister or a niece, number one. Most of these girls and women, they face discrimination, violence, anywhere at work, marginalization. I will go quickly because of 10 minutes. Children and adolescents, they face exploitation, sex abuse, human trafficking, sex slaves. I was privileged to sponsor some orphans, and I was asking one of the people that help us with the orphanage, where is the lady that used to help us? They said the lady went to Liberia. Why? How? Sex, human trafficking. I was so upset. I said, call the police, whoever do that. Check your community as I'm leading this for us this evening. Indigenous people. Dr. Ibas spoke about widows. Some of them are being displaced. A lot of our people are being displaced. Go to Nigeria, Zambia, South Africa. They took them out of their lands. Financial trauma going on. I'm going somewhere. Persons with disability who face barriers to access anything. How many of us see people on wheelchair and just look like this? We put our eyes off. We don't want to see if they need help. Please, from today, make sure you go in and ask them, what do they need? It's not only about money. Reverend said something, compassion and empathy. And Dr. Atune said something, it's not only about money. What about our love? What about being there? Visibility, listening, welcoming, warm love. Do you need help? How can I be of help? I am here with you. We are together in this. I was on wheelchair for almost a year. I had multiple fracture on this leg that you see me standing. So I had an experience within me for that one. In fact, we didn't come to CSW last year because as of last year, this leg cannot walk. So I experienced it. Going to the bathroom, no one to help you. You got to help yourself. Take a look when you go home today. Look around your environment too. How many bathrooms is accessible to persons with disability? How many cars? Oh, okay, let me go quickly. All right. Now the LGBTQI society. Most of us, because of our religions, we kind of exclude them. They are human beings.
Amen.
They are our brothers and sisters. Show them love. All right. Older persons who face related vulnerability, including poverty, isolation, neglect, abuse, stealing their money.
Mercy. So true.
They give the caregiver the card. Trust me, the number is gone. The account is boom. Okay. Are we there? Are we still together? Yes. All right. Okay, now let me give you some statistics so that we know that we have work to do. The vulnerable population worldwide, approximately 700 million people, that is 8.5% of global population, live in extreme poverty. And we are here in green, in yellow, in purple. Hey. These people are living with only less than $2 a day. Around 3.5 billion people, that is 44% of the global population, live on less than $6.8. $6.8 a day. And trust me, those people also say they are upper income level people in their country. And here we are wasting food, we are wasting clothes, we are wasting resources. Our own minimum wage is like 17 something. We are still, let me go. Okay, 2 more minutes. Okay, disability statistics, 10% of the world population, which means roughly 650 million people are experiencing disabilities. They live with disabilities. Quickly, mental health statistics. 1 out of 2 people in the world will develop mental health in their lifetime. 1 out of 2. And approximately 50% of the population will develop at least one mental health disorder by age 75 years. HIV statistics, so many countries, but I will go quickly. And South Africa has the largest number, about 7.7 million people living and affected with HIV. Call to action. Our call to action. I know that time is going and I have only 1 more minute to go. But I want to tell you something this afternoon, my sisters. I am a woman. Or human? A woman. I am a woman. I am vulnerable. So you are. We all are. But the power to leave my comfort zone, all of us here today, so that we can all work together in partnership. We have power to leave our comfort zones. That power has been bestowed upon us by God Himself. And we have these 3 P's: purity, prosperity, and power within a woman for us to go forward. So therefore, from today, be vigilant. Let's rise up together collectively to stand upon that call for action. The cry when a baby arrives in a city, in a home, when a woman delivers in the labor room, we hear when. The cry brings joy. But the cry is the beginning of a race. This is the beginning of a race. We are calling it post 30 years Beijing. This is the beginning of a race. So as an athlete today, we are all going to stand up to run the race without quitting. We are all going to say we are ready for 2030 agenda. And together, we are going to make the difference. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. That was a very powerful brief of powerful. That's our last speaker for the day. Let's applaud all of them. Very big round of applause. Yes, let's give them some standing ovation. I always have what I call, sit up, the moderator summary. But I will give the floor. I have 5 minutes. Those 5 minutes, I'll give it to the floor for anybody who wants to say. Just one minute. Any contribution? 1 minute. Yeah. 1, 2.
Thank you very much, sir, for the opportunity. My name is Professor Lubumi Ashimolowo. I lecture with the Federal University of Agriculture in Abeokuta. I also serve as the Executive Director of Gender Development Initiative. I'm so happy to be here, and honestly, I go in line with all what the speakers have said, but I want to add the issue of supporting victims of gender-based violence. We are all aware of what is happening in Nigeria on Nateta's case. I tell you, just today, they organized to remove her, from our constituencies, and they mobilized both boys and girls to start signing for a removal. But I tell you, immediately, the women there recognized that it wasn't an empowerment initiative, but rather it moved to remove a fellow woman. What did they do? They went into the streets and they protested and they left. So that's the essence of education. That's the essence of protecting victims of sexual and gender-based violence. Thank you very much for this meeting.
Thank you very much. Who is the next person? Just briefly, okay.
How do we collaborate? How do we work together? How do we network together? You in Nigeria? Where are you? Atlanta. Okay, in USA. There must be a way for us to work together.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, come closer to the microphone here, because don't worry, I'll give you your opportunity. 1 minute.
I want to thank you for everything said about the vulnerable. Okay, good. All right, my name is Princess Julie. I'm representing the U.S. Embassy for Peace, and actually, everything that has been said here borders to motherhood. I'm talking about the Mother Mentor Initiative, talking about the hairstyle of a child from birth, from conception, making sure we make available the right food, the right nutrition for mothers. And again, being able to mentor the girl child to become the right mothers that will change the perspective that generations have seen about womanhood. I am really blessed to be in the midst. Above all, seeing our legend mother here, and thank God for my auntie here. Honestly, thank you very much, Honorable Ada. I thank you for the opportunity, and I want us to do something together. We all have been putting our little piece, and it's like a ripple effect. I was in Abuja last year, and I started what we call the African Recovery Team. And what we do is that I went to the slums. I went to Plateau State. I went to the slum where girl child sleep in the cave. And what we do, we cooked food, made t-shirts for them that day, and brought all of them out. And all of them were under influence of drugs. Both those in Abuja. But how much can I do alone? I'm back to the US. I'm there monitoring few that I can monitor and that are on my platform. How about those that are not connected to the internet? They are the most vulnerable. They are the most less privileged. They are the ones that are left behind. Please let's join hands together and make sure this works. I am here if you want me to go. I can do away with my 5 to 9 job. I don't care, but this is passionate to me. Thank you very much.
God bless you, all my father's children. I salute you all in the name of the Lord. I believe that we're here because purpose has to align with destiny. I believe that's why we're here, to answer the question, which is why I wanted to speak to you. I run an organization. Today we had the privilege of speaking with over, I believe it's about between 35 and 40 officials who are saying, where are we going to put our money? Where they come to me to find out where do we put our money. I offer my services to you. We are available to you. The FPI network. We run the 100 Women Strong movement. I have 100 women, 3 continents, 20 states. Let us know how we can help. We're here to help. Tell us what we can do. We're willing to house you when you come to the States.
Yes, ma'am.
Our home is open to you. So please let us know what we can do to help.
So at this point, we have the moderator's summary. Are you ready for it?
Yeah.
First, genuine acts of kindness and generosity lead to a richer, more fulfilling life filled with purpose and connection. 2, acts of kindness can help us to step outside our own concern and see the world from a different perspective, fostering a sense of connection and purpose. 3, the heart that gives often finds joy and fulfillment in the act of giving and the positive impact it has on others. It's like the power of a smile. When somebody smiles at you, you cannot help but smile back. That is what generosity does to us. That's what giving does to us. And because, like I said from the beginning, I've been there. I was in the Congos. I saw for myself. I went, I saw, I conquered. Thank you very much. So I'll call Dr. Ada now to give us her wrap-up.
Oh my God, I thought you have done that. So I just want to thank everyone. Unfortunately, I don't know whether it's a laptop or the Wi-Fi or network started acting up, and Her Excellency and her team are out of this end section. But we thank God that they were able to join us and hear all the speakers speak. And I want to thank each and every one of us for coming to this important event. You see, when it comes to issue about vulnerable and less privileged, I first of all think that I am vulnerable, I am less privileged. So if you place yourself on these 2 items, then it will be easier for you to help whoever is in that situation. Just as Her Excellency spoke about her leg, she said last year, 2 years she has not been here because of this issue. And you know that when one part of your body is vulnerable, your entire system is vulnerable. So we need to consider these people. And last September, the world leaders adopted the Pact for the Future. And in this Pact for the Future, they gave 3 things. One is that the world is in a crossroad. See the vulnerable, the less privileged in crossroad. They are confused, they are frustrated, they are marginalized, they don't have bearing, they don't even know what their tomorrow is. Just as Ambassador said, some people are living in slums. These are girls. These are future first ladies. I'm happy that we are seeing the very first Nigeria first. I was not born then. No. My father never met my mother then. You know, but I can stay with her right there. So you see, we are losing those girls and those boys who are in the slum. So we need to see what to do to help them. Again, the second part said, let's choose, make I think a course. Let's change a course. The second theme of the pact. Let's change a course. The course right now is the course on the vulnerable and the less privileged. We need school. And I tell you, Nigeria is terrible right now. We are suffering in that country. A situation where you can't even afford medication for you to get well. So when you see somebody telling you that she is financially vulnerable, she is nutrition, food vulnerable, don't just see somebody on wheelchair on the street. We need to help them, you know. In December, Ruth Sisters Fellowship has to do food outreach in the community, you know. Just cook food, share some cups of rice for them, loaf of bread. They can't, up till tomorrow, up till last week, they are still calling, what am I coming to do again? I never recover, you know. So I'm trying to tell you that we have a lot of vulnerability that we need to really sit up action. And that takes me to the third theme of the part. He said, let us come together to shape the future, the world for a better future. These people are the better tomorrow. And it is me and you can come together to shape them. Yes, why I said so of us, it is me and you because no matter what, we are better than a lot of people. We are better. So just lean on that, our betterment, to help to shape the future of a lot of people. And that's just what I'm doing. And I want to thank the Divine Mercy for vulnerable and less privileged children, for less privileged persons for what they are doing. They are really doing a lot in the community, helping people, especially teachers. I knew when we organized a community-wide teachers' conscience, because that is that teachers are vulnerable, just take it. Teachers, they are very vulnerable. Because, and I run a school and I know what it is. When they don't teach a child what they're supposed to teach them, they are vulnerable. And we took it upon us to rebrand them. If you are a teacher, be a teacher. You know, don't teach this child because the mother gives you money. The other children, the mother don't give you money. You are destroying their future. So a lot of areas of vulnerability is what I'm mentioning. And they did that 1 month training for teachers to rebrand their mindset. When you come to teach, be prepared to teach. So that tomorrow that child will remember you. I remember one day, I think 2010, there was one speaker from World Health in Geneva. He spoke at the UN. And then when they were reading his bio, they said he went to school, he started his education from Irene Menakaya School. I said, what? You know? And he was speaking. So when he finished, well, at the end, I ran to him. When he saw me, he said, hey, Mrs. Menakaya. She thought I was my mother. She hugged me. I said, I'm not Mrs. Menakaya, is gone. It is a dog. Hey! He will introduce me to this person. It is the mother that made me what I am. It is the mother that is the reward of teachers. You know, he was so proud. He was been telling them that there are times my parents cannot come. I will stay weekend in Mrs. Benakaya's house. You know, the passion. So let our career not be vulnerable. Whatever you are doing, doctors in the medical practice in Africa is zero. They are vulnerable practitioners. You know, because they will treat you to die. So we need to sit up. So let God help us. Thank you all for your prayer, and thank you DML for your efforts. And there are a lot of collaboration. My sister, we are going to talk and see how we can help, come together to help. Thank you all, and thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you for leading the team. My sister, sorry for your hand. I know just last week she had a surgery on their hand, and this morning she told me I am flying to come. So God bless you. Let this hand. No, let this hand. Let us pray for this hand. Stretch your hand and begin to talk to this hand. Let whatever is the problem, as my sister gave testimony over her leg, may you give this testimony in the name of Jesus. We cover